In the quiet hum of a command center deep beneath the bustling streets of London, a new kind of war was being monitored. This war did not involve soldiers or tanks, but something far more insidious: lines of malicious code. Agent Tony Spears, a veteran of countless digital skirmishes, watched the world map light up with red alerts. Each blinking light represented a cyber attack, a silent invasion targeting hospitals, banks, and power grids across the globe. The attacks were becoming more frequent, more sophisticated, and more daring. They were no longer just a nuisance. They were a clear and present danger to global stability, a digital plague that respected no borders and threatened the very fabric of modern society. Tony knew this was not a problem one country could solve alone. The enemies were ghosts in the machine, faceless and nameless, operating from the dark corners of the internet. They exploited weaknesses in systems that were meant to connect people, turning tools of progress into weapons of chaos. A hospital in Nairobi could be shut down by a hacker in a distant city, and a small town's water supply in Brazil could be held for ransom by an anonymous group. The world was more connected than ever before, but this connectivity had also created a new vulnerability. Tony understood that the response had to be as global and as connected as the threat itself. He picked up a secure phone, his reflection steely in the dark screen.
"Farzana, it's time," he said, his voice low but firm. "The pattern is undeniable. This isn't random. It's a coordinated effort to destabilize developing regions. I see it too, Tony. They are targeting areas with emerging digital infrastructures, places where the defenses are still being built. They see opportunity in their growth."
They both knew what had to be done. A new kind of team was needed. The plan was ambitious, almost audacious in its scope. They would assemble a team of the world's best cybersecurity agents, an elite unit dedicated to defending the digital frontier. This team would not wait for attacks to happen. They would go on the offensive, traveling to the front lines of this new war. Their mission would be to train, to build, and to fortify. They would be teachers, engineers, and digital guardians, working hand in hand with local partners to build a global shield against the rising tide of cybercrime. The call to action was clear, and the world's best were about to answer it, uniting for a cause that transcended politics and geography. The mission was officially codenamed Operation Digital Shield. Its objective was simple in concept, but monumental in execution: to strengthen the cybersecurity defenses of key nations across 4 vital regions of the world. These regions, Africa, Australia, South America, and Eastern Europe, were chosen for their strategic importance and their vulnerability. They were hubs of innovation and growth, rapidly adopting new technologies to improve the lives of their citizens. However, this rapid digital expansion had outpaced their security measures, leaving them exposed to sophisticated cyber threats that could cripple their progress before it truly began. The mission was not about planting a flag, it was about planting seeds of knowledge and resilience. The core of Operation Digital Shield was proactive defense. Instead of just reacting to breaches, the team's goal was to prevent them from ever happening. This meant going into the field and working directly with governments, critical infrastructure operators, and local businesses. The agents would conduct comprehensive assessments of their existing digital systems, identifying weaknesses and potential entry points for attackers. They would then help design and implement robust security protocols, tailored to the specific needs and challenges of each location. It was a mission built on partnership, not imposition, aiming to empower local experts to become the long-term guardians of their own digital domains. The mission had 4 distinct, yet interconnected pillars. The first was infrastructure hardening, which involved upgrading physical hardware and software to the latest security standards. The second was human capacity building, focusing on training local IT professionals, government employees, and even the general public on the principles of cyber hygiene. The third pillar was intelligence sharing, creating a secure network where information about new threats and attack methods could be shared instantly between the agents and their local counterparts. The final pillar was education and awareness, launching public campaigns to teach citizens how to recognize phishing scams, create strong passwords, and navigate the internet safely. Tony Spears and Farzana Khan knew that technology alone would not win this fight. The true shield would be built from a combination of advanced tools and educated people. Operation Digital Shield was therefore a mission of empowerment. It was about giving communities the tools and the knowledge they needed to protect themselves in an increasingly digital world. The success of the mission would not be measured in the number of attacks blocked, but in the strength and self-sufficiency of the digital defenses they left behind. It was a long-term investment in global security, one community at a time. At the helm of this global endeavor were Agent Tony Spears and Farzana Khan, a duo whose skills complemented each other perfectly. Tony was the field commander, a man of action with an intuitive grasp of tactics and an uncanny ability to predict the enemy's next move. He had spent years in the digital trenches, tracing hackers through complex networks and dismantling their operations piece by piece. His leadership style was direct and inspiring. He led from the front, earning the unwavering trust of his agents. Tony understood the human element of cybersecurity, knowing that behind every line of code was a person, whether a victim or a perpetrator. He was the heart of the operation, driving the team forward with relentless energy.
Farzana Khan, on the other hand, was the master strategist, the brilliant mind who saw the larger picture. Operating from the central command hub, she coordinated the intricate logistics of the mission, ensuring that each agent had the resources, intelligence, and support they needed, no matter where they were in the world. Farzana was an expert in data analysis and pattern recognition. She could sift through mountains of information to find the one critical detail that could turn the tide. While Tony was on the ground, Farzana was their eye in the sky, providing real-time intelligence and strategic guidance that allowed the team to stay one step ahead of their adversaries. She was the brain of the operation, ensuring every move was calculated and precise.
Their partnership was built on a foundation of mutual respect and years of working together. They communicated constantly, their secure channels buzzing with updates, analysis, and strategic discussions. Tony would report on the challenges and opportunities he saw in the field, while Farzana would provide him with a global perspective, connecting the dots between seemingly unrelated incidents. If an attack pattern emerged in South America, Farzana would be the first to alert the team in Africa, allowing them to prepare their defenses before the threat could spread. This seamless collaboration between the commander in the field and the strategist at the hub was the engine that powered Operation Digital Shield. Together, Spears and Khan created a culture of unity and purpose. They reminded their team that they were not just individual agents working in isolation, but part of a global network with a shared goal. They organized weekly virtual briefings where all agents would share their progress, discuss challenges, and learn from each other's experiences. Tony's motivational leadership combined with Farzana's strategic oversight created a powerful synergy, transforming a group of elite individuals into a cohesive and formidable force for good. Their combined leadership ensured that Operation Digital Shield was more than just a mission. It was a promise to the world that no one had to face the digital darkness alone.
Deep in the heart of Australia, where the sprawling cities give way to the vast, rugged outback, I was on the front line of a different kind of frontier. My domain was the rapidly expanding digital landscape of the continent. Australia's economy was increasingly reliant on technology, from high-tech agriculture in the countryside to advanced financial services in Sydney and Melbourne. My mission was to ensure that this digital growth was built on a secure foundation. I specialise in network architecture, and I've always been a teacher at heart. I love making complex technical concepts understandable to everyone, whether it's corporate executives or farmers using new smart irrigation systems. My work often takes me far from the polished office buildings of the city. I work closely with regional governments and businesses in remote communities, helping them secure their vital digital links to the rest of the world. One of my key projects involved helping a consortium of sheep stations in Western Australia secure their new drone-based monitoring systems. These drones provide invaluable data on livestock health and pasture conditions, but they're also a potential vulnerability. My local team and I worked tirelessly to encrypt the drone data streams and build secure networks, making sure this innovative technology could be used without fear of sabotage or data theft.
A significant part of Josie's role was education. She organized workshops and training seminars across the country, teaching people how to protect themselves online. She created engaging programs for schools, showing children how to be safe on social media and recognize online dangers. For small business owners, she provided practical, easy-to-implement guides on protecting customer data and preventing ransomware attacks. Josie understood that a strong defense was a collective effort. By empowering everyday Australians with knowledge, she was building a human firewall that was just as important as any piece of software. She made cybersecurity personal and accessible to all.
One of my greatest successes came when a major shipping port in Perth faced a sophisticated phishing attack that threatened to disrupt national supply chains. The attackers tried to trick employees into revealing login credentials that would give them control over the port's logistics software. Working alongside the port's IT staff, I quickly identified the threat. We contained the breach, traced its origin, and implemented a new two-factor authentication system across the entire network. More importantly, we used the incident as a teaching moment, running drills and training sessions that made every employee a more vigilant defender of the port's digital gates.
Across the Indian Ocean, in the vibrant and rapidly developing nations of Africa, Agent John Kibet was leading the charge.
Born and raised in Kenya, I've always felt a deep connection to this continent, its immense potential and the unique challenges we face here.
John was an expert in mobile technology security, a critical field in a region where mobile phones were the primary gateway to the internet for millions of people.
From the bustling mobile money markets of Nairobi to the emerging tech hubs in Nigeria and Ghana, digital innovation is just exploding all around us.
John's mission was to ensure this revolution was secure, protecting the dreams and livelihoods of a new generation of entrepreneurs and citizens.
My approach is always rooted in collaboration. I don't see myself as some outsider coming in to fix problems. I'm a partner, working to build local capacity.
He spent his days working side by side with African engineers, government officials, and startup founders.
One of my flagship initiatives? Helping to secure the mobile banking platforms that have become essential to the economies of so many African nations.
These platforms allowed people to transfer money, pay bills, and access financial services using just their phones.
I help developers implement stronger encryption and biometric security features, making these vital systems more resilient against fraud and hacking attempts.
Education was the cornerstone of John's strategy.
I've always believed that technology can only do so much. People need to be the first line of defense.
He traveled from country to country, hosting workshops on digital literacy and safe online practices.
I even worked with telecom companies to send out security tips via SMS messages in local languages, reaching millions of users.
He developed simple graphic-based guides to help people with lower literacy levels understand threats like phishing and malware.
My goal is pretty simple: demystify cybersecurity, turn it from some complex technical subject into practical everyday knowledge that can empower everyone.
A defining moment in John's mission came when a major hospital in Uganda was hit by a ransomware attack.
The attackers encrypted all the patient records and demanded a large sum of money to release them. Lives were literally at risk.
John and his local team immediately flew in.
We worked around the clock, not just to isolate the infected systems and restore the data from secure backups, but also to train the hospital staff on how to prevent future attacks.
He helped them set up a more robust network with better access controls and automated backup systems.
In the end, the crisis was averted and the hospital came out stronger and more secure than before. That's the kind of hands-on, empowering approach I believe in.
In the historic cities and growing economies of Eastern Europe, Agent David Jones faced a different kind of challenge. This region was a complex mosaic of old infrastructure and cutting-edge technology, a place where Cold War-era systems sometimes existed alongside modern digital government services.
I specialize in critical infrastructure protection. My job is to defend the power grids, transportation networks, and public utilities that really form the backbone of society.
The threats here were often sophisticated and state-sponsored, aimed at causing disruption and sowing instability. David's job was to fortify these essential services against a determined and well-funded adversary.
My method is all about meticulous analysis and reinforcement. I work closely with national energy companies and public works departments, conducting deep dive audits of their industrial control systems.
These were the digital brains that managed the flow of electricity, water, and gas. Many of these systems were old and had not been designed with internet security in mind.
Together with local engineering teams, we painstakingly map out these networks, identify vulnerabilities, and implement modern security measures like network segmentation and intrusion detection systems. It's slow, careful work, but it's absolutely essential.
Training was a critical component of David's mission, but it had a unique focus.
I concentrate on training the engineers and technicians who manage the critical infrastructure every single day. We develop highly specialized programs that simulate cyber attacks on model power grids and water treatment plants.
These realistic drills taught the local teams how to recognize the signs of a digital intrusion, how to respond effectively under pressure, and how to quickly restore services.
By building this hands-on expertise, we're actually creating a generation of cyber engineers who can defend their nation's most vital assets from the inside out.
One of David's most significant achievements occurred when his team detected a subtle, long-term intrusion into the railway network of a key Eastern European country. The malware was designed to lie dormant, waiting for a command to disrupt train schedules and signaling systems, which could cause chaos and potential accidents.
Working with the National Railway Authority, we carefully tracked the malware back to its source. We developed a custom tool to surgically remove the malicious code without shutting down the entire system.
The threat was neutralized silently and efficiently, a quiet victory that protected thousands of commuters and prevented a major crisis, highlighting the immense value of David's patient and precise work. Across the Atlantic, in the dynamic and diverse continent of South America, Agent Albert King was the team's sentinel.
I'm a master of data privacy and financial security, skills that are in high demand here, especially with the boom in e-commerce and digital banking.
From the bustling financial centers of Sao Paulo to the growing tech startups in Colombia, countries were embracing the digital economy. Albert's mission was to help them do it safely, protecting both the financial institutions and the personal data of millions of citizens.
People know me for my calm demeanor and my sharp analytical mind. I can unravel the most complex financial fraud schemes.
Albert's work involved close collaboration with central banks, financial regulators, and private sector companies.
I help governments draft and implement modern data protection laws similar to Europe's GDPR, so citizens have more control over their personal information. I also work with commercial banks to upgrade their online security, helping them adopt technologies like artificial intelligence to detect fraudulent transactions in real time.
Albert's goal was to build a regional ecosystem of trust, where people felt confident conducting their financial lives online, knowing that robust protections were in place to safeguard their assets and their privacy.
Education is absolutely key, especially in the fight against online scams that target ordinary people. That's why I spearheaded a continent-wide public awareness campaign called Proteja Seu Dinheiro, which means protect your money.
The campaign used social media, television spots, and community workshops to teach people how to spot fake shopping websites, avoid investment scams, and recognize phishing emails pretending to be from their bank.
I have a knack for creating simple, memorable messages that really stick with people. It's about empowering them to become more skeptical and savvy consumers in the digital marketplace.
A major breakthrough for Albert and his team came when they uncovered a massive international credit card cloning operation based in the region. The criminal group was stealing card details from insecure online payment portals and using them to make fraudulent purchases around the world.
I coordinated a complex investigation involving law enforcement agencies from 3 different South American countries, along with intelligence from Farzana's central hub. We pieced together the digital trail, leading to the arrest of the ringleaders and the dismantling of their network.
The operation not only stopped the theft of millions of dollars, but also led to significant security upgrades in the region's e-commerce platforms. Operation Digital Shield's greatest strength was not its advanced technology or its elite agents, but its unwavering commitment to teamwork.
Even though we're separated by thousands of miles, we're never isolated. We're a tightly woven network, always connected and collaborating.
This unity was their secret weapon, allowing them to respond to threats with a speed and scope that no single entity could ever hope to match. The mission was a living demonstration that in the fight against global cybercrime, cooperation is not just an advantage, it is a necessity.
At the command hub, I act as the nervous system for the entire operation. When Josie discovers a new malware in Australia, that information doesn't stay local.
Yeah, within minutes, Farzana analyzes the code, identifies its key signatures, and sends out a detailed alert to John, David, and Albert. That way, before the malware even has a chance to reach Africa or South America, we're already updating our defenses.
This kind of proactive intelligence sharing turns a local threat into a global lesson. It strengthens our shield everywhere all at once.
We also make it a point to support each other. Our weekly secure video conferences aren't just for reporting progress, they're for brainstorming solutions to tough problems.
If I'm struggling with a complex financial fraud case, I can always tap into David's expertise in tracking sophisticated actors in Eastern Europe.
And if I need advice on securing a large-scale mobile network, Josie's deep knowledge of network architecture is just a call away.
This cross-pollination of skills and experiences made the entire team smarter and more effective. They were more than colleagues. They were a global think tank dedicated to a common cause.
Tony Spears' leadership is what really forges that bond. He's not just an inspector, he's a teammate and a mentor.
He'll join me on a visit to a remote community or work alongside John's team in Nairobi. His presence always reminds us that we're part of something bigger.
Tony ensured that every victory, no matter how small, was celebrated by the entire team, reinforcing their sense of shared purpose and accomplishment. It was this spirit of unity, from the command hub to the field, that made Operation Digital Shield a truly formidable force. As the months turned into years, the impact of Operation Digital Shield became clear and undeniable. The red alerts that once lit up the world map in Tony Spears' command center began to diminish. The change was not just in the number of blocked attacks, but in the growing confidence and capability of the nations the team had worked with. The legacy of the mission was not a series of temporary fixes, but a lasting foundation of security and knowledge. The agents had not just built shields, they had taught others how to forge their own, creating a world that was fundamentally safer and more resilient in the face of digital threats. In Africa, John Kibet's work had helped secure the mobile money revolution, allowing millions to participate in the digital economy safely. In Australia, Josie Jackson's efforts had fortified the nation's critical industries, from agriculture to shipping, ensuring their technological advancements were protected. In Eastern Europe, David Jones had hardened the essential services that people relied on every day, creating a silent, powerful defense against disruption. And in South America, Albert King had built a new culture of data privacy and financial security, empowering citizens and institutions to thrive online. The positive changes were tangible and widespread. The most important legacy, however, was the human one. In each region, a new generation of local cybersecurity experts had been trained and empowered. These were the men and women who would carry the mission forward long after the agents had gone. They were now the guardians of their own digital domains, equipped with the skills, knowledge, and networks to defend their communities. Operation Digital Shield had successfully passed the torch, creating a self-sustaining global network of defenders who continued to collaborate and share intelligence, multiplying the mission's impact far beyond its initial scope. In the end, Tony Spears and Farzana Khan looked at their world map, not with anxiety, but with a sense of profound accomplishment. The world was not, and never would be, completely free from cyber threats. But thanks to the unity and dedication of their team, it was a far more prepared and capable world. They had proven that a coordinated, collaborative, and empowering approach could turn the tide against the forces of digital chaos. The legacy of Operation Digital Shield was a safer, more connected global community, ready to face the challenges of the future together, as a united front. The mission was a success, and its echoes would protect people for years to come.